Yeah, the battle for the Premier League title continues. It's really hot at the top. Well, Liverpool went back on top. Arsenal is still following inside there. Man City is third, but it's tight. It's pretty tight inside there. Well, very many of you wanted me to start with Man U's dismal 4-3 loss to Chelsea, but that's information for another day. But well, we want to go into the top because we want things that are heated, we want things that are hot. Welcome to Mr. Vamos Dissect. As usual, the plan is the same: football, football, football. And today it's lonely at the top FC and all the guys at the top. Well, the main game of the weekend will be Liverpool taking on Man United, or rather, Man United taking on Liverpool. Man United is at home. Well, the dynamics of this fixture is the last time Man United faced Liverpool at home, well, Man United came away with a win 4-3. That was in the FA Cup. And long story short, Man United is now in the FA Cup semi-final. It was a very many Man United fans remember that game because it was a game of nerves and steel. Well, going a goal down and coming back, a goal down and coming back. And finally making the win inside there was not an easy thing. But of course, coming off the back of a 4-3 loss to Chelsea, and then that's I think Man United has now lost 5 points in 2 games, both at the death in the 90th minute. Well, Cole Palmer, they're now calling him Cold Cole, actually putting in a hat-trick against Man United the other day. Of course, there was a lot of lapses in the defense. I personally think Diogo Dolo shouldn't have rushed into a challenge in the 90th minute inside there to open the game for a Chelsea side that looked like they'd already given up. And it's really going to be bad for that Man United side because yesterday they against Chelsea they lost Rafael Varane to injury. Johnny Evans rushed back into the fray, got injured. Lisandro Martinez, the butcher, back in action the other day, got an injury in training. So it's going to be crazy to see how they line up. Well, the young man, stalwart who looks like Aaron Wan-Bissaka Kwambala, Willy Kwambala, came through yesterday and I think he was pretty impressive inside there. But they faced a Liverpool side that actually got a scare against Sheffield. Well, Sheffield managed to pull one back inside there until McAllister took matters in his own hands, actually, with a sumptuous finish inside there. And then Cody Gakpo coming off the bench to also score a goal that cemented the tie. Well, Liverpool 3-1 winners against Sheffield. Well, Liverpool is now a title contender, and this is not going to be the same stuff that happened in the FA Cup. I think Liverpool is hungry. Liverpool wants it more. There's been a lot of clips in the dressing room of Liverpool recently. They've been talking about winning trophies. Of course, there's been language barrier inside there. I'll run the clip. I'll probably show you guys the clip of Konate speaking French, Darwin Nunez speaking Uruguayan, and then Robertson, of course, agreeing to whatever they were saying. And it actually shows that the dressing room looks like it's okay. But Man United, on the other hand, I think the dressing room might be in shambles. Again, I was really happy. Very many of you saw my post about Anthony Santos getting a round of minutes inside there. He actually put in a solid performance inside there. Trivela assist is something that we remember from Ricardo Quaresma. Those are not usual things that we see. And of course, he actually put in a decent shift inside there. And then I'd like to think Marcus Rashford, I think we actually need to get this fraud out of Man United because you cannot tell me that a player is going to be paid all that money and come through and start pad. He actually came on for Rasmus Højlund, who I think was putting in a lot of pressure. And as usual, he was just doing his usual. He was strutting on the pitch. Well, for a team that actually wants to win games, everyone is supposed to remain alive. Everyone is supposed to keep putting in the press. Well, I think there was a solid display from Kobe Mino and Casemiro in the middle of the pitch. Of course, coming from 2 goals down to equalize and go ahead, it was actually something that was supposed to build their momentum. But I'm still skeptical about the substitutions that Ten Hag makes because he brought on a Scott McTominay for Casemiro, who I didn't really think had gassed out. And it's just one of his vendettas to bring on Scott maybe to seal games, but it's actually been going against Man United all the time. Somewhat, I think the coach is being rigid a lot with some of his substitutions because for Rasmus Højlund, who doesn't have any injury, he's not being kept for anything because Man United is not fighting for nothing anymore. I don't see why he doesn't get all these minutes the way he deserves to get his minutes. For you to bring a Rashford who is just walking on the pitch and then we're trying to contain a game, then it makes no sense because Mason Mount actually came on. He was helping with keeping the ball. He was putting his body on the line. He made some impressive blocks inside there. But at the end of the day, the game went away. Liverpool, on the other hand, like I said, if I was to get for you guys a prediction, I'll even make the prediction very early. Man United does not take this one away from for me at the Stretford end. Well, the theatre is supposed to be a theatre of dreams, but I don't think Sunday will be a theatre of dreams experience for Man United because, well, Darwin Nunez actually showed on the night that he was going to score goals from whichever way. It was a scrappy finish inside there. Of course, he caught the keeper napping, and then, of course, the shot ricocheted off him to enter the goal. But that actually shows you that the chemistry and the love that the players have for scoring goals is actually in there. Mo Salah was actually taken off early in the game. I think they're resting him for the game. And now I'm thinking Mo Salah is fancying going against a Diogo Dalot inside that one on Sunday because, well, if you saw what Cole Palmer did to Diogo Dalot during the game, it's really something that you might not want to see from a player like Mo Salah, who has a lot of experience and all that. But I think Liverpool, with all the players coming back from injury, Curtis Jones is back. You saw Nendo is looking into a late fitness test. You saw Gravenberch is back. Then I think this Liverpool side will actually do a formidable challenge inside there. Robertson is back playing football. He actually delivered the winning assist. So if it were up to me, I think the firepower that Liverpool has right now will most definitely mess that Man United side up because Andre Onana has actually conceded 70 goals this season. That is a rock high amount of goals that Man United has conceded. And then Man United made, I think they've broken their personal record. I think their worst season in terms of making losses was actually stampeded. There was stampeded with the Chelsea loss. That's 17 losses in a season. That hasn't happened before. So if you want to win games, you score goals and you keep the goals out. Man United clearly isn't doing that. So most definitely give you guys a Liverpool win inside there. Well, Man City takes on Crystal Palace. That's the first game of the day. Crystal Palace hasn't really been playing sports recently. Most of their players have been injured. Michael Olise, their best player from the wing, has been injured. He's getting injuries week in, week out. Eberechi Eze is in and out of the team as well. England players and being prone to injuries. Well, they've been relying on Jean-Philippe Mateta and Jordan Ayew to put in the goals. And it's actually been working a bit. But they face a Man City side that is fresh from beating Aston Villa. Before they beat Aston Villa the other day, they hadn't won against any of the top 5 sides in the Premier League. Well, Aston Villa beat them in the reverse fixture the first time 1-0. And then, of course, Phil Foden bagging a hat-trick inside that one. Of course, the likes of the Kevin De Bruyne were all sat out on the bench. And then he was quick to praise Rodri, who has actually been having a stellar season for them. He actually made an assist inside there and brought in a goal. And Phil Foden was quick to praise him because he believes that there's nothing that Rodri cannot do. And there's been comparisons of Rodri and Sergio Busquets recently. I didn't really want to dive inside that one, but I think Phil Foden, I think Rodri is the heart of that Man City team. Take him out and they cannot play sports. And then Doku Sports also actually had a contribution inside there. But I think this Man City team will be lethal. Taking on Crystal Palace has been fluffing their lines in front of goal. I think this game will only have one winner, and that will be Man City. Well, title contender Arsenal take on Brighton. Well, this will be a pretty interesting game to watch because if you remember last season, Brighton managed to take Arsenal off the trophy completely. 3-0 loss to Brighton. Of course, Unda bringing in a goal inside there. And this was a result that Arteta needed back in the day to see that Arsenal gets to win the trophy or keep their hopes up, but they lost that. But I'm really happy about this Arsenal side because they've been playing very beautiful football. And just like I said, they've now scored 17 goals in 4 away games. Pretty interesting stat. They haven't lost a game. They haven't lost a game this year in the Premier League. And of course, they played against the game they played during midweek was, I don't want to say it was a walkover, but it was a Luton side that has been scoring against everybody. That was a good result to bring in because they prevented Luton from conceding. And shout out, of course, to the center partnership of Saliba and Mahaleng. Is just like I said, this must be the best partnership in the Premier League for the past 2 seasons. They've been rock solid at the back. Reminds me of Lauren Koscielny and Ameta Saka, who had gotten a chemistry and had learned how to rebut anything that was coming towards the defense. And, well, their goalkeeper right now, David Raya, has the most clean sheets in the Premier League, which is not a coincidence because he has 11 clean sheets. And then the guys following him have 8 inside there. So that shows you that the defense is rock solid. And well, I think Martin Odegaard will be very key for them inside the tie that they're going to, because of course a Martin Odegaard that's unlocked will dictate all the play that Arsenal is doing, and they will most definitely bring in the results. Well, Bukayo Saka is still, he's still, I think the coach says he has a cramp inside there, but most definitely I'm sure he'll get a run of minutes. He was able to give some minutes to Reece Nelson. I personally like Reece Nelson because I think if he's given time to play the ball and he's given like a run of 3 games, he'll actually give Gabriel Martinelli and Trossard a run for their money. Just that, well, that is not really coming through for them. And then Brighton, on the other hand, they've been having a contrasting season. They win today, they lose tomorrow. And then Roberto Zerbi actually said that he might not really extend his contract this season. So we might have an Italian moving out of the fray. And maybe Brighton will lag in form. Maybe Danny Welbeck might be looking to hurt his former employers. You know the thing about players playing well against their former clubs. You remember when Adebayo left for Man City and then he came to hurt Arsenal. I don't know if that will happen this time around, but let's keep our fingers crossed on that one. But in regards to who wins this game for me, I think Arsenal takes this one away from me. I don't see how they're going to lose a Premier League game anytime soon. Well, we'll keep our eyes focused on that. Well, aside from the Premier League, that race continues to be hotly contested. We'll keep our eyes locked onto that one because, well, all these teams are taking it game per game. It's going to go down to the wire. Interesting for me, I was liking, you know, I'm following the German Bundesliga recently, and Leverkusen actually went 13 points clear the other week. And there's this whole thing of Harry Kane transferring to Bayern Munich, and he's going to continue his trophyless seasons because now that's going to Bayern Munich as the top scorer in Europe, because he actually got an award the other day for most goals scored in the year 2023, and he's still not going to get a trophy. Well, Thomas Tuchel, on the other hand, considered and said, well, the trophy is gone, and clearly I don't see them bringing this trophy back home. Well, they get into action, they'll be in action again, they'll be playing the guys that were promoted to the league. They have a rather complicated name, but I think that will be an easy win for them. Leverkusen, on the other hand, fresh from qualifying for the DFB Pokal trophy, they're now looking into winning 3 trophies this season, which will be a pretty interesting thing to watch for a Leverkusen-inspired side that has made it usual to win games at the death. And then, of course, Xabi Alonso actually committed his future to Leverkusen and will be there for another season. So interesting times for us to watch. Well, in the Premier League, the focus will also be on the top scorers chart because Erling Haaland still tops the charts. He's been on and off this season. Well, you notice Roy Keane came through and said that Erling Haaland somewhat might be equated to some of those players that might be playing maybe in English League 1 and League 2 because without the service, he's just doing nothing on the pitch. We'll yet to see if he'll rack up some goals against Man City. But, well, it's tough up there in the top scorers charts because Erling Haaland has 8. Cole Palmer now comes through with 16. There's a Dominic Solanke with 16. There's an Oli Watkins with 16. Mo Salah with 16. It's really crazy up there. Let's wait and see how that goes. Well, in regards to games that we might give you that might maybe give you some results. Well, this week there's no Spanish action, but Bilbao takes on Mallorca in the Copa del Rey. That will be an automatic win for you guys for Bilbao. In Italy, AC Milan takes on Lecce. That's an automatic 3 points for you. Leverkusen takes on Union Berlin. That's an automatic win for you. Aside from that, let me let you guys go and watch this weekend. Of course, keep your eyes locked onto the Man United Liverpool game because it's going to be a pivotal moment in the season. Well, of course, if Man U does the things, then you know what will happen to the top. Aside from that, we'd like to thank you guys for staying tuned to the channel, for subscribing, for liking. For those of you that are new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Let's journey on this together. Vamos, peace and love. We go again.